In the name of God the Merciful. Hello. In this clip, you will get to know the sights of Iran. Meanwhile, the next clip will be about the wildlife attractions of the African continent. If you, like me, are interested in the touristic places of the countries, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Well, let's go. Persepolis. Takht Jamshed, a symbol of splendor and majesty in ancient Iran, is one of the most important documents of the history of civilization in the world and a relic of the Achaemenid kings from 2,500 years ago in Iran. In general, the buildings and palaces of Persepolis were built in the middle flat area and the south, southwest, and east sides of this area. The entrance to the complex is a paved staircase that leads to a larger space. Gate of the Nation's Palace with long adobe walls and 4 tall columns, Persepolis Treasury, 100-column palace or throne hall, Kashayar Shah's Palace or Hatish, 3-door palace or central palace, Bar Palace or Apadana, Dariush's exclusive palace or Thatcher and royal tombs, and of course, Persepolis Museum is one of the most important sites of Persepolis. It is interesting to know that at the same time as the construction of huge palaces in Persepolis, slavery was prevalent in other great empires of the world, but in Iran and in the seat of the Achaemenid government, workers were ensured and benefited from various benefits. Chagazanbal. Chagazanbal is the first historical work of Iran that has been registered in the UNESCO World Heritage List, an area that covers 100 hectares and is actually a city left over from the Elamite period, Pre-Medic period. Chagazanbal Ziggurat or Chagazanbal Temple is an appropriate, amazing, landmark, and the most important remaining building of this ancient city in 5 floors and measuring 105 x 105 meters, which became smaller in the form of a pyramid from the bottom to the top, and a small temple was located on top of it. The height of this temple was 52 meters, of which only 25 meters remain in 2.5 floors. Chagazanbal was built in the second half of the 2nd millennium BC by the order of one of the most powerful Elamite kings to worship the Elamite gods and was destroyed in 640 BC by the order of Ashurbanipal, the king of the Assyrians. Susa Water Mills. The historical, industrial, and economic complex of Shush Water Mills is located in the vicinity of the historical context of Shushtar, a collection that is considered one of the rarest engineering structures in the world dating back to the Sassanid era. The construction of this magnificent structure is attributed to kings such as Ardashir I and Shapur. Shushtar's water structure complex includes various parts such as bridges, dams, mills, waterfalls, canals, sikka, a place for rest and recreation, and huge water tunnels. Each of the structures in this collection has its own function and application. In the past, this structure delivered water equally to all the cities and prevented the eruption of the Karun River. In addition, he was responsible for irrigating agricultural lands and operating mill wheels to prepare wheat flour. Nakshir Jahan Square. Naksher Square is one of the most beautiful sightseeing places in Isfahan, with a length of more than 500 meters and a width of 160 meters. The square is surrounded by 200 cells on 2 floors, and 4 prominent historical monuments in different parts of the square attract the eyes. Shah Abbas Safavi, with the aim of expanding the city towards its southern part on the border of Zayandeh River, founded the first building of this square with the architectural style of the Iranian square. The initial foundation of the current form of Naksher Square was built in 1011 lunar year, and gradually the construction of the square and its buildings was completed until 1025. Jame Abbasi Mosque, Sheikh Lotfallah Mosque, Ali Kapa Mansion, Sardar Kasari, and handicraft sales centers and 2 old polo gates are among the sites of Naksher Square in Isfahan. Among the most popular activities of tourists in this attraction, we can mention visiting historical sites, walking and horse riding, photography, going to cafes and restaurants, shopping, and buying souvenirs. Bam Citadel. Arg Bam is one of the most famous attractions of Kerman province, in the southeast of the Lut Desert. This adobe structure has a unique architecture and displays a spectacular example of a defense structure in Iran, a structure that throughout history has protected the eastern regions of Iran like a strong fence. Bam Citadel was considered the largest adobe structure in the world until the earthquake of 2002. Fortunately, the Bam Citadel restoration project did not allow this complex to be removed from the UNESCO list, and currently the structure is one of the most visited sites in Bam. Arg Bam is an ancient city with a collection of tall buildings dating back to 2,500 years ago, which is divided into 2 parts, the serfs and the government. This citadel has an area of about 18,000 square meters and walls with a height of 6 to 7 meters surround it. Pasargad. The construction of the Pasargad ancient complex of Shiraz began during the reign of Achaemenid Cyrus and was completed during the periods of other kings of this dynasty by adding palaces and other buildings. Pasargad was the first Achaemenid capital, whose main area was 160 hectares and was surrounded by a large plain. The architecture of this complex was a combination of Iran, Egypt, Greece, and Mesopotamia architecture. The ancient complex of Pasargad includes the tomb of Cyrus, the Pasargad Mosque of Shiraz, the Pasargad Bridge, Tang Balagi, large palaces, Bahram, Darwaza Palace, Akshasa Palace, Royal Gardens, Tel Takht, or Madras Aliman, Cambodia Mausoleum and Mozaffari Caravanserai. The role of Rajab and the role of Rustam. Naksher Rustam Shiraz is a historical area in Fars Mountains, and the oldest buildings, tombs, reliefs, and inscriptions of ancient Iran are located in it. The distinction of Naksher Rustam compared to other historical sites of Fars is the existence of works from 3 prominent historical periods in it, a region that the Achaemenid and Sasanian kings attached special importance to. The reason for naming Naksrustam region with this name is attributed to an old legend. According to this legend, this area was the place of encounter between Rustam and Esfandiar. Elamite reliefs, Bahram II, Shapur-I, Narsi, Ardeshir-Babakan, Hormuz II, and Aramaic inscriptions on the tomb of Darius I and Kurdiyer inscriptions are among the reliefs of Rustam's reliefs collection. Among other sites of Naqshband collection, we can mention Zoroaster's Kaaba in front of the tomb of Darius II, which is said to have been the center of worship in ancient Iran. Naqsh-e-Rajab, near Naqsh-e-Rustam, is one of the most important and magnificent cultural works of the Sassanid period, which includes 4 petroglyphs of Shapur, the second Sassanid king, and his courtiers, the coronation of Ardeshir-Babakan, the founder of the Sassanid dynasty, the Kartir inscription and the coronation of Shapur-I, son of Ardeshir-Babakan. Will be sculptures that are unique works and surprise the viewer. Sultani Dome. The Sultani Dome is one of the architectural masterpieces of Iran during the Ilkhanid period, which was built between 704 and 712 AD by the order of the Mughal king Al-Jado and under the supervision of Khwaja Rashid ud-Din Fazlullah Hamadani. This building consists of 3 spaces: dome, crypt, and cellar. The dome of Al-Jado Mausoleum, with a height of 50.48 meters and a diameter of 40.24 meters, is the largest historical dome in Iran and the largest brick dome in the world. The main body of Sultani Mausoleum is made of bricks and its huge dome with 2 walls is covered with turquoise and lapis lazuli tiles and decorated in a mosaic style. The interior decorations of the Sultani Dome include plastering, Makran's work, tiling, decorative lines and various brick decorations. Bistan. Bistan complex with an area of 1,650 hectares, a large number of historical monuments such as Shekarkian Cave, Mar Dodar Cave, Sarab Bistan, Mayor Tariq Cave, Mahdi Shrine, Blash Stone, Murdad Ashkani Relief, Godrez Relief, Hercules Statue, Farhad Terraz, Ilkhani Caravanserai. It houses Bistan Bridge and so on and is considered one of the most important archaeological areas in Iran. One of the important works of this collection is the inscription and carved relief of Darius, which is on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The history of the historical works discovered in Bistan starts from about 4,000 years ago and continues until a few hundred years ago, a treasure of which 28 works have been registered as national works of Iran. In the historical complex of Bistan, there are facilities such as parking, restrooms, prayer rooms, handicraft stalls and souvenir shopping, restaurants, and pantry for the well-being of tourists. Prince Mayan's Garden. Shazday Mahan lush garden in the heart of the desert is one of the most beautiful places to see in Kerman and one of the 9 famous Iranian gardens in the world, dating back to the Qajar period. The order to build this garden was issued by Mohammad Hassan Khan, Sardar of Irani and the ruler of Kerman at the time, and then during the time of the next ruler, between 1298 and 1309 buildings were added and completed. Shahzad Mahan Garden is one of the best sloping gardens with a unique and spectacular display of water in the form of steps and on horizontal and vertical levels, which has a rectangular plan, covers an area of about 5.5 hectares and includes the entrance gate, bathhouse, mansion, water supply network and pond. In it is between a tall fence of trees. Golestan Palace. Golestan Palace, with its unique architecture and decorations, is an ideal place for photography and capturing beautiful images in the old context of Tehran, which enchants visitors with the beauty, history, architecture, culture, and art of Iran. This palace consists of different parts such as Evantakt Marmor, Hall of Salam, Hall of Mirrors, Dining Hall, Clot Karimkhani, Berlin Hall, Badger Mansion, Shams Olamara Palace, Almas Hall and Abaid Palace. The marble throne porch and the Karimkhani shrine, belonging to the Karim Khanzand period, are the oldest buildings in the Golestan complex. Among other parts of this collection, we can mention the Manuscript Library, Visual Documents Center, Written Documents Center, Technical Office, International Affairs, Print Library, Cultural Affairs, Introduction Affairs, Child and Adolescent Unit, Legal Office Unit. Golestan Palace dates back decades before the Qajar period. Currently, the area of this palace reaches 4.5 hectares, an area equal to 1/10 of its original area. In the past, this palace was the residence of kings such as Aga Muhammad Khan, Fath Ali Shah, Nasir-ud-Din Shah, Muzaffar-ud-Din Shah, and Ahmad Shah Qajar. Burned City. The Burned City is based on archaeological findings dating back 5,000 years before the oldest civilizations in the world. This attraction is located in high hills between 12 and 18 kilometers high and between Haman and Hermand rivers. When you travel to this area, you will come across a large museum in the desert, where a treasure is hidden in every corner. Burned City was one of the largest cities of ancient Iran and one of the most important civilizations of the eastern plateau of Iran, which is known by other names such as City of Arts, due to the discovery of outstanding works of art and handicrafts, the first animation of the world on a glass, and City of Science. Is also remembered for the discovery of outstanding scientific findings, especially in the field of medical science, such as an artificial eye, a ruler made of ebony wood, an old backgammon board with 60 pieces. Hyrcanian forests. The Hyrcanian forests of Iran and the Republic of Azerbaijan are among the most important regions of the biosphere in the world, which play an effective role in the formation of the life cycle. Unique species of plants and animals have grown in the Hyrcanian forests over time. Unfortunately, some of them have become extinct today. The special location of the Hyrcanian forests on the edge of the Caspian Sea and the surrounding mountains has provided special climatic conditions for plant and animal species that cannot be seen in the forests of other parts of the world. Scientists have estimated the age of Hyrcanian forests with an area of 2,125,000 hectares around the third geological period, or 40 million years ago. In general, Hyrcanian forests make up only 1% of the area of Iran, and only 10% of these forests are protected. Hyrcan forests are like a huge air purification factory, and their vastness plays a significant role in the production of oxygen and clean air in the surrounding areas. Shrine of Imam Reza. The Shrine of Imam Reza in Mashhad is one of the most magnificent Iranian Islamic architectures, and it can be said that it is the pinnacle of Islamic architecture. This shrine was the tomb of the 8th Shiite Imam, which is one of the most important shrines in Iran. The Shrine of Imam Reza is a beautiful and relaxing place and has always welcomed foreign and Iranian pilgrims, and every year many tourists from different countries go to the Shrine of Imam Reza to get spiritual peace. The Shrine of Imam Reza was formed due to the martyrdom of the 8th Imam of the Shiites, who migrated to Merv at the invitation of the Caliph of the time 1200 years ago and was martyred in this area. Now, with an area of 1 million square meters and with its courtyards, porticos, museums, halls, restaurants, and office complexes, it is known as one of the largest religious buildings in the world and is a religious and cultural tourist attraction that is part of He can have meeting plans for you for several days. Keshm Salt Cave. Keshm Salt Cave is the largest salt cave in the world and is 6,600 meters long. This cave is located 90 kilometers from Keshm city and 2 kilometers from the coast. So you can visit this 570-year-old cave at the same time as a beach trip. During the research, breathing from the air inside the cave can help improve respiratory diseases such as asthma. Fragile salt sculptures, rivers of salt and tiny bats are what you can expect. There is not enough light inside the cave, so to take a closer look at the body of the lanterns, it is enough to bring a powerful flashlight. The salts inside the cave have medicinal properties, don't be afraid after tasting them. Kandavan Village. Kandavan is one of the most beautiful villages in Iran. The history of Kandavan caves reaches 7,000 years ago. But about 700 years ago, when the Mongols attacked Iran, the people of East Azerbaijan fled to the caves that now stand out like honeybee hives 18 kilometers away from the city of Esko to save their lives. Kandavan village is the only rock village in the world whose residents are welcoming tourists. When you get close to this village, take a deep breath and enjoy its unique air. The special attention of domestic and foreign tourists to Kandavan has caused many residences and hotels to be built around the village, so there is no need to worry about accommodation. The souvenirs of this village, such as handicrafts, dried fruit, and honey, can keep the good memory of your trip in your memory for a long time. Kariz Kish. Kariz Kish is an underground city with historical architecture and one of the most stunning sights in Iran. This Kariz is located in the heart of the only coral island in the world. Shells and corals that are thousands of years old cover the roof of the city. The world's only coral mosque with a roof full of rocks and marine fossils was built in this underground city. Don't forget to visit the Persian Gulf Museum, the old aqueduct, the Kariz Wells, the photographer's house, and the natural water treatment plant on your trip to this spectacular place. The soil of this Kariz has healing properties and is used in mud therapy. The air in Kanat is always cool and does not change throughout the year. So it doesn't matter what season you travel to Kish, Kariz Kish is always one of the must-see places in Iran. After the investments made for restoration and reconstruction, now this K-Rise can be called an international tourist attraction. Lut Desert. If you want to touch the highest sand pyramids in the world, you just need to travel to Dasht Lut. From a distance, these pyramids look like lumpy skyscrapers, and some people call this area a ghost city. This plain is 10% of the area of Iran. The vastness of Lut has made it possible for you to easily access this plain from the provinces of South Khorasan, Sistan, and Baluchistan and Kerman. Due to the dark color and dryness of the surface, the central areas of this plain have been known as the hottest spot on the planet for 7 years. Most of the population living in the Lut plain live in an area called Shadid. The best tourist attraction of Lut Valley is Klatha area, which is located 43 kilometers from Shadid. This plain is the first natural heritage of Iran that has been registered in UNESCO. Historical houses of Kashan. Kashan is located 250 kilometers south of Tehran, and it has some of the most beautiful historical buildings and sites in Iran. Bahfin, Tabatabai House, Burujurdi House, Ameri House, Adel House, Morzhedi House, Abashian House, Manochari House, and Rahab House are just some of the most beautiful places to see in Iran, which in this 7,000-year-old city like a shining star, the magnificent architecture of Iranian buildings. They face tourists. Exquisite ceilings, artistic wall paintings and courtyards full of pomegranate trees are what you will find in the historical and eye-catching houses of the city. Sultan Amir Ahmad neighborhood is one of the most spectacular areas of Iran that you will definitely enjoy seeing. The Burujurdi house is very similar to the Tabatabai house. The reason for this similarity was the love of the Burujurdi boy for the Tabatabai girl. The condition of the girl's father for this union was to provide a house like his own for his daughter. Some of these houses are now serving as guest houses for tourists. So, on your trip to Kashan, you can experience the feeling of living in these houses. The best time to visit Kashan is spring. In the spring, the smell of rose water from the ground and sky creates an atmosphere where you feel that the city has been washed with rose water. Bobak Castle. Bobak Castle is a historical fortress located 13 kilometers away from the city of Kalabar in East Azerbaijan province. Bobak Castle was built during the Sassanid period. When the Abbasids attacked this region, Bobak-i Aramdan took the leadership of the people and fought against the aggressors in this fortress for 20 years. Bobak Castle is also known as Gohar Castle and Baz Castle. This historical fortress is built on a mountain at a height of 2,300 meters. The way to Bobak Castle passes through the ups and downs in the heart of the mountains. Although you have to make a lot of effort to reach the fortress, the pleasure of walking this route with views of the lush nature of Azerbaijan is no less than the pleasure of reaching the fortress itself. In the middle of the path there is a spring whose cool water will refresh you. Bobak Castle is hidden among towering mountains and misty hills, and the pristine forests of Arzbaran have given this region a special natural beauty. If you visit this castle in the summer season, you will come across Il Shah suntans. Warm-hearted people, among whom a short break will be an opportunity to gaze at the unique view of nature. After reaching the top of the castle, you will understand why it was a difficult task to conquer this castle. Ainalo tourist area is 1 hour away from Bobak Castle, and if you are lucky you can see merle and wild deer up close. Hormuz Island. Hormuz Island, 16 kilometers from Bandar Abbas, is called the Land of Colors and is one of the most beautiful and special places to visit in Iran. The red soil and yellow, white, and red mountains will present you with a unique view. The pleasure of exploring the island alone can make a memorable trip for you. After reaching Bandar Abbas, you can reach Hormuz Island by fast boats from Haktani Wharf. The most interesting thing that will attract your attention at first glance is a red mountain that the locals have covered with clay. The taste of the food you will eat on Hormuz Island is different from the taste of all the food in the world. The reason for this difference is the use of a spice called surak, which is prepared from the same red soil. This island is called the paradise of geologists because of its colored soils. The moment you encounter the colorful soil of the island and the blue water of the Persian Gulf brings indescribable beauty. This island was occupied by the Portuguese at some point in history, and the result of this occupation was the construction of the largest fortress in Iran. The Valley of Silence is one of the scenic areas of this island. If you put your hand in its water for a few minutes, a layer of salt crystal will form on your hand. Walking in the second half of the year on a mysterious beach and seeing the sunrise and sunset along with the unique color spectrums has made Hormuz Island one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Among the sights of Hormuz, we can mention Rainbow Valley, Valley of Statues, Drive, Ahmed Nadalian Museum, and Hormuz Carpet.